Hello, everyone. This is author, motivational speaker, and dating coach Matthew C. Horne. And I'll bring you a video tonight titled, So She Called You Handsome. It's brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available on my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to continue to push with the algorithm so I can continue to bring you these elevated messages. But let's get right to it. So she called you handsome. So she called you handsome. She spoke some flattery words to you. She called you handsome. And the premise of what I'm going to talk about tonight is that the game becomes simple when reference points pervade your consciousness and her words mean nothing. The game becomes simple when reference points pervade your consciousness and her words mean nothing. And what I mean by that is that if you become an attractive enough man, you've learned to see all sides of women. And once you learn to see all sides of women, because you've experienced enough women exhibit a multitude of behaviors, you'll begin to understand how simple and predictable of a creature that a woman is. How simple and predictable of a creature that a woman is. That's what they are. And if you keep finding yourself falling prey to the flattery or the false obedience that a woman will give to you in the beginning and not getting the outcomes that you want and suffering some sort of loss, it's because she called you handsome and you didn't say, so what? Because that's when the game changes. That's when the game slows down. That's when the game simplifies. It's when you learn to watch a woman's patterns of behavior and not give any credence to any words that she speaks to you. You're looking at her behaviors, you're looking at her movements and not her words. And if you look at a woman's words and you put credence in a woman's words before her movements have solidified and validated her words, you're going to consistently find yourself in frustrating positions with women. And I can remember, I met a particular young lady. I was out. I was at a spot. I was leaving, and it was an entryway. And we ran into each other in the entryway as she was coming in and I was leaving. And I spit my game to her. She was tall. She looked good, somewhat of my type. And I asked her for a number. She gave me her number. Everything was cool. She had a smile on her face, like the energy was there. And then so not too long after I left the spot, I went to take a break, went home to take a break before I went to my next spot. And she contacted me. She was just like, it was so nice to meet you. I want to save you, handsome. It was so nice to meet you, handsome. And I was just like, okay. And I didn't know whether I was going to go out or not. Like I said, I was just taking a little bit of a break. And I said, we should definitely cross paths because I'm thinking her night is just warming up because I had gone out a little earlier than what I normally do that particular night. And she was like, yeah, we can cross paths and all that kind of stuff. Like she was with that. So she said. And so turns out, she hits me up and she's just like, well, I haven't me and my girl, we were going to another spot and we just decided just to call it a night. And mind you, she had already agreed that we should cross paths when I presented that to her. And so, she got to asking me questions via text of how old am I and where do I live and, all that kind of shit. And we found out that we lived like 10 minutes away from each other, if that. And nothing was in front of us. She already was ready to be out later, but her and her girl just decided they had been out long enough. But if the right opportunity presented itself, they would have stayed out and she would have stayed out. So when I'm just like, okay, we don't live that far away from each other. Yeah, let's get together. My place, your place, have you want to do it. There's the opportunity right there. And she was just like, well, I'm already in and I'm settled right now. And, another day for sure. Another day for sure. And then this is where she started playing with me, because when it came down to getting together, the text got slower. But she called me handsome though. The text got slower. And she actually was texting me back and telling me about what she was doing. She was supposed to be winding down and going to sleep, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just listening to music, smoking, and I'm vibing." And if you notice patterns of women that are really into you, that's something that they would rather be doing beside the man that they're really into, if the opportunity is there. If a woman had a choice to be with a man that she's extremely sexually attracted to on a Saturday night versus being by herself smoking and vibing, so to speak, which one do you think she's going to choose? You know? So I saw that she was playing, and I just said, okay, I just stopped. I just stopped replying to her. Stop responding to her. And then the very next day, she texted me like, "Good morning, King," and all this other stupid shit. And I hope I'm sending you good energy and all. I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Like I didn't even reply to her, and that's because I didn't fall prey to flattery words. I didn't fall prey to what she said that she was open to and what she actually agreed to. Like, yeah, we should cross paths. And then when the opportunity presented itself to her to cross paths, then nah, I'd rather just stay here by myself. And so that's what you have to notice in order to avert and avoid frustration with women. Their words have to align with the movements. The movements have to align with the words. And if there's a disconnect, then that is a indicator that there's going to be a frustrating experience in front of you. Because that type of woman, as soon as she knows that she can play with you, as soon as she knows that she can agree to something and then just pull it off the table and then still contact you, and then you're in contact with her, she knows you're a man, that you are a man to be played with because you're playing with yourself. And I said in one of my previous videos last week how a woman will do something disrespectful or she'll try you just to see if you'll be there. There meaning there as a part of her collection of men that she can toy and play with in between the men that she's really attracted to. There. And I had to let her know I would not be there. I do not dwell in there. It's either a superior experience or a hard goodbye, a swift goodbye. That's how it is. But see, I want to focus on these reference points because a lot of times men waste their times because they don't have enough reference points of women that are really attracted to them and women who know how to exist in the presence of an extremely sexually attractive man. See, when a woman is attracted to you, more or less, she's going to make things very easy because she doesn't want to rob herself of the experience of experiencing you. So that's when they'll just make things easy. They'll hope that you have enough intelligence to observe that she wants you to set a plan in motion to create a sexual situation for the two of you. Or if you're not sharp enough to see what she's doing, she'll even create the sexual situation for you. And as a sexy, attractive man, you've had that happen so many times that you can sniff out a woman who's throwing you in a false direction. You'll be able to sniff out a woman whose words and movements do not match. You'll be able to sniff her out. And then you'll become the villain because the women will put the word out that this is not a man that you can play with. And if this is not a complete woman that can get the whole man that she wants, she needs a collection of men that she can sell different parts of herself to get different outcomes from. And she wishes that these men were one man. But when she meets the one man who encompasses all of these characteristics, she can't play with him. And since she doesn't want to improve herself, she's forced to create a collection of men that are there. And that's why you can't be taken in a preemptive direction thinking that you're going to experience a certain outcome just because she called you handsome, just because she spoke some flattery words, just because it appears that she's replying fast to your texts and willing to get on the phone and willing to show up to whatever you present to her. You can't fall prey to any of that because her actions are going to reveal the truth of her intentions. And you can't be blindsided by flattery words. Oh, so she called you handsome. But I've had that happen a million times. And I just want to, just continue to focus on how you have to improve your attractiveness. There's no getting away from it. Women respond on a biological and sexual level to men who are extremely attractive. And not every woman is going to find you to have that level of attractiveness to her. But enough women are going to find you that attractive that you automatically have a mind that is stained with the movements the knowledge of how women move when they're extremely attracted to you. And after that happens enough, then you will not be able to entertain anything other than that. And that's how you can develop an understanding of women's patterns. They're simple, predictable creatures. Their movements are always revealing their intentions with you, always. They can't hide from it. They can throw misdirection with their words, but there's certain actions that a sexy, attractive man can pick up on that the average man cannot, because the average man has not had the experiences. Eating shit is his norm. Jumping through hoops is his norm. A woman saying one thing and doing another, that's his norm. His mindset is, as long as I get the pussy. It's a victory to disrespect himself for in the name of some disrespectful pussy. That's the average man. That is 99.9% of men. And so you have to develop yourself into a man that enough women find you that attractive, that you can begin to sniff out the patterns. And see, your understanding of patterns makes you make a declaration as to the type of man that you're going to be and the experiences that you want. And so you are unafraid to talk to women in accordance with how you want and desire them to move with you, because you know yourself and you know the best experience that you can have with women because you had it multiple times. And the other type of experiences that are underwhelming and inferior have no appeal to you. And so that's how you can easily sniff out the BS and avoid it. But women are going to try you, and you're going to continue to get tried, and you're going to continue to fail the test, the test of masculinity, the test of standing tall in the midst of an offering of an inferior experience to you from a woman. You're going to continue to fail that test until you become attractive enough to choose yourself every time, because you know that the women who choose you the way that you've chosen yourself won't do low-level, underwhelming, low-quality offerings. They won't offer those things to you. And you'll see the patterns, because there's only so many ways that women move. They're simple, they're predictable. And you have to learn how to observe those patterns so that you save yourself some time to get the desired outcomes that you want. And see, those patterns, they create barriers. When you understand the patterns, they create boundaries and barriers. And so this really serves you, because you don't consciously create these boundaries and barriers that keep dumb shit and low quality experiences away from you. They're formed through the awareness of how women move when they give you the experience that you want. And so it's not something that you can be taught to create. It's something that life and your experiences are going to have to show you, and they automatically manifest into your life. I'm talking about these barriers and boundaries that keep the stupid shit away from you in the games. So I had an experience with a woman, and we met on the hookup app. And, everybody knows what they're there for when it comes to an app like this, right? So, we get on the phone, everything's moving right along. I state my intentions. She says she's okay with something like that. And I'm like, all right, my place or yours? She's like, oh, that's not safe. I want to meet up with you in person first. And I'm just like, well, there's outdoor spaces close to where I live. There's outdoor spaces where I live. If you want to meet in public, I say, hey, this outdoor space is just like Starbucks. And at this point, I already know what's going on. I'm just bullshitting at this point, And she's just like, oh, I'm not comfortable with coming to your residence. I'm like, but this is just as public. The outdoor space is just as public as if we met at Starbucks. She says, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. So at that point, I'm able to understand the pattern. She agreed to something simple, something casual, something sexual, but she's trying to throw barriers in between that type of situation happening. She's trying to throw the barriers. And since you understand women and how simple they are, you know that if you give into her bullshit and you accept her boundaries and barriers that are going against what you desire and what she agreed to, once again, she's okay with that kind of situation. Once you find yourself in that situation and you found yourself in that situation enough, then you automatically know that there's some bullshit that's going to come if you accept her inferior and underwhelming offering to you. You know that it's not necessary to meet out in person. You know you can have dialogue on an app. You know that you can get on a FaceTime or a phone call, feel each other's energy. And then when a woman is really into you, as a sexy, attractive man, this is how it looks in that particular scenario. You did the dialogue on the app. You did the video chat, or you got on the phone, whatever avenue that you chose. And the woman is dropping hints. Oh, we don't live that far away from each other. The woman is dropping hints that she wants you to come over or she wants to come to you. And then when she drops the hints, you create the situation and it just goes down just like that. And so you know you have enough reference points of women agreeing to do a certain thing. And then when you call them to the front of the congregation to do that particular thing, then they create an alternative scenario to get to the situation that they agreed to, that you presented to her. But the thing that can save you from that is the observation of patterns. The game becomes simple when patterns pervade your thought processes and her words mean nothing. So her words are the agreements to whatever you presented to her, but your instincts show you if she's really there in accordance with what she agreed to. Your instincts are going to show you that. And so, like I said, I was in that situation, and the girl was like, "Oh, here's a barrier for you. Let's meet out in public." And as a sexually attractive man, you had so many women just come straight over. Like you already know that every woman that says, "Oh, I don't feel safe," and all that kind of bullshit, they've seen a man that they were that attracted to that they went straight to his place or had him come straight over. You know that shit. You know that they're regularly having casual sex. Ha! Okay. How do you know these women are having casual sex, Matthew? Well, this is how I know. All right. 9 out of 10 women in our community are going to have a child before they leave the earth. 90%. 80, 78, virtually 80% of those children are going to be born out of wedlock, outside of marriage. What is sex outside of marriage? Casual sex. So they can't escape the statistics, but they can only manipulate the ignorant. And you have to have enough experiences where you are not ignorant. So this particular woman, I was just like, okay, I cut it real short. I was just like, well, we're on different pages. And hey, you know what? I like the results that I've gotten in my life by moving the way that I've moved. That's how I say it. Nothing spiteful, nothing disrespectful. You have the right to move how you move. I'm content with moving how I move. And I was just like, I hope you found what you're looking for. And that's it. And you could tell she was taken aback because she kind of paused, and you could just hear in her vocal tone that that's not what she was looking to hear. She was looking for me to accept the first hoop so that she could introduce more hoops. And see, I immediately shut that situation down because I understand patterns, because I've been exposed to all sides and behaviors that women exhibit. And until you become attractive enough and you have power over that, I don't want to hear that thought in the back of your mind, or that thought that's screaming at you right now that's saying, not every man has it like that. Yeah, motherfucker, you need some discipline. You need to push the boundaries of your attractiveness. You need to scorch the earth, put down those fat ass cooking oils, get some 0-calorie spray oils, eat some protein and some vegetables. Get your ass active, get out there and run, move around, play some basketball or something, lift some weights, do something consistent. That's different than what you've been doing. And see what comes back to you, since you're giving life a more improved version of yourself. You'll be surprised at what comes back. And that's what I want to get across to you, is don't be afraid to change some things if you don't have reference points to challenge the frustrating experiences that you're having. You're having these frustrating experiences because Your women know that you're ignorant enough to listen to their words and not observe their movements. That's why you're having continuous frustrating experiences. But you have to push your boundaries of attractiveness to see another side of women. And you control that. You control that. And then the only other scenario that I'll bring up, and then this is pretty much it for this video, is she was upset because of the things in that short conversation she found out about me. Never been married, no children. She saw my picture, saw how I look, knows my height, all that kind of stuff. And I even asked her, I said, what are your dating experiences like out here? Before I told her exactly what I, was looking to do. She said, oh, they're rough, they're terrible, and all this other stuff. And I stepped up, gave no impediments or hoops. A lot of guys will just talk to women forever. They complain about men wanting to be pen pals and all this kind of stuff. I set it in motion like a man with vision would do. Created a scenario. Boom, bip, bop, just like that. And she had to throw a hoop. And so this is what women do. A lot of women, they're not used to attractive men being that straightforward and putting things in motion, because most attractive men, even if they're overly attractive and women interpret them that way, most attractive men aren't fully aware of their levels of attractiveness because they've accepted the indoctrination that women are more valuable than them. So they unnecessarily jump through hoops. Like, women will present hoops to these guys and be surprised that they jump through them. I promise you. And so a lot of times a woman, when she has an attractive man, she doesn't think that she's attractive enough to even be in his presence. So she has to run hoops and games to keep that man there. She has to make that man invest, because she feels that if he invests, then he's more likely to stay. She's like, I can't have sex with him like right off the break, even though I want to, because I don't have anything of substance to offer him outside of this sex. And most men that I have sex with leave me. So she has to make you jump through hoops because she really wants to keep you. She really wants to show you off to her friends. She really wants to compete with her other low quality friends and say, hey, look at all this shit I'm feeding this guy. He's still here. And then her friends say, look at all this shit I'm feeding this guy. And then the woman who has the most attractive man that's eating the most shit, that's the winner in the low quality group of friends. And so a woman doesn't trust herself if she's trying to present games and barriers to you, to stand in between her and having sex with. She doesn't trust herself. She doesn't trust that her qualities are going to be great enough to make you want to stay. And so that's why you find yourself in those situations where women, they're attracted to you, but they're trying to throw wrinkles and hoops and games. And then once you don't go for it, you're going to see instantly that they're upset because they really liked you. You're a departure from, you're even more attractive than men that they normally deal with, but they weren't intelligent enough to just do what they've done with you that they've done with less attractive men. They try to make a more attractive man work harder than a less attractive man. And the more attractive man knows that. Ain't no way he's sticking around for that shit. So women, they'll throw misdirection, they'll throw games, they'll throw impediments, they'll throw hoops, but that's perfectly fine. So she called you handsome. And it's perfectly fine because once you develop your lens, the game is going to slow down. It's going to become very simple. You'll understand that there are only a few types of women out here. And you'll see if the woman is moving, not saying, but moving in congruence with the situation that you deem is the best for you. How do you know what's best for you? Because you become attractive enough to understand through repeated experiences with women and see which women are calibrated to you and what you want. Because you're a man that doesn't listen to words of flattery. You're a man who simply observes patterns. This has been Matthew C. Horne, author, motivational speaker, and dating coach. Bring you a video tonight titled, So She Called You Handsome. It's brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available on my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to continue to push me the algorithm so I can continue to bring you these elevated messages. And I hear you all in the comments. You want to make videos on particular topics. If you want me to make a custom video, it costs $150 or more, a donation of $150 or more to my PayPal and my Cash App information that's in my video description. Once you make a donation on PayPal and Cash App, both platforms have a note feature. PayPal and Cash App have a note feature. Leave the title of the video that you want me to make in the note feature after you make a donation and complete your donation. I'll see your note, I'll see your topic, and I'll make your video and have it on my channel right here, Matthew C. Horne Dating on YouTube, in 24 hours or less. If your subject matter that you want me to speak about in your video is more nuanced and more detailed than just leaving a note on PayPal and Cash App, you complete your donation of $150 or more on PayPal and Cash App, bypass the note feature, and then email me at matthewchorne.com with your more nuanced and in-depth description of what you want me to make your video on, and I'll have your video on my channel in 24 hours or less. Easy and streamlined. If my message has been of value to you, if your thought process have been elevated, and you are better for having encountered my message, I would like for everyone to make a donation to my PayPal and my Cash App information that's in my video description. I'll never tell you what to donate. Just donate according to how you've been impacted. Your donations continue to help me to elevate, grow, and move forward, and put me in position to help you to elevate, grow, and move forward through this content. It keeps me in position. So yeah, if you've been positively impacted, you're better for having encountered my message, go ahead and drop a donation. If you're in need of coaching, if you have different challenges, impediments, frustrations in the dating space that you cannot escape, if your life is circular and you're not experiencing the breakthroughs that you want in the dating space, I want you to email me at matt@matthewchorne.com. Leave coaching in the subject matter of the email, and in the body of the email, leave your name, your phone number, and whatever issue that you're facing in the dating space. And I'll do an assessment of it, and I'll email you back with the terms of the coaching. And once you accept the terms of the coaching, we'll set a date and time, and the coaching will commence. Give me 1 hour of your life in a coaching session. You're going to get a breakthrough. You're going to get elevated understanding, and you're going to get to a place where you will not be in a circular, frustrating position. You want to be in a place of continued increase. Book your coaching session with me. I'm also looking to still fill the remaining slots of the 5 individuals who want to take a year-long coaching journey with me. In this year-long coaching journey, you're going to get a minimum of 3 coaching calls per week with me every week. And you're also going to have 24-hour access to me as well, meaning that you can call me, you can text me, reach out to me if you find yourself in a situation with a woman. You're looking to get in a relationship, you're starting to like a girl is starting to back away that you like, just any situation that men commonly find themselves in. As I'm coaching you throughout the week, you can also reach out to me, and I can be, your emergency exit clause out of whatever situation that you're facing with a woman. In this mentorship program, in this year-long mentorship program, like I said, I can only take on 5 people because it's a lot of bandwidth. I'm giving a lot of myself. In this year-long program, like I said, you get the 3 coaching calls per week. You have 24-hour access to me. And then I'm just going to do an observation. I'm going to create very specific and tailored curriculum and coaching for you. I'm going to observe exactly where you are, and I'm going to take into account where you want to be. And I'm going to create exact coaching that begins exactly where you are. No 2 individuals are going to receive the same coaching. This is custom. And then you give me a year of your life, you're going to surpass any expectations and desires that you have for your life. I promise you that. And we're also going to meet up in person no matter where you are in the world at least one time. So if you're interested in taking a year-long coaching journey with me, I want you to email me at matt@matthewchorne.com. In the subject matter of the email, leave mentorship. In the body of the email, you leave your name, you leave your phone number, tell me exactly where you are in the dating space and in life, and tell me where you want to be. I'll do an assessment, and I'm not going to email you back. I want to call you, and we're going to get on the phone right after you email me. Within 24 hours, we're going to get on the phone. And I want to decide if we're a good fit to work with one another over the course of a year. You give me 1 year of your life will never be the same. Lastly, everyone join my dating coach community on a school platform. On the school platform, you get 2 custom videos every week in my dating coach community. Videos that are not on YouTube, videos that are specified just to the community. You also get to get on the line with me once a week, every Monday night at 8 p.m. We just had our Monday Zoom tonight, our Monday Live right in the school community tonight. It was great. Everyone got great information, and the conversation was extremely high and elevated as well. So in the community, every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we get on the live. I do a monologue, And then after the monologue is over, me and the gentlemen who are on the live, we discuss it. They can ask me anything. And then after that, they get to ask me anything about anything, dating, relationships, ask me anything they want to ask me for the remainder of the hour. It's an amazing space. And I want everyone to sign up. Every video that I made that's custom for the community is archived. Every live that we've had in the community is archived as well. There's dozens of videos that you can watch and binge watch and elevate your game. You can elevate your game to exponential levels, okay? And so that's all I have for you. I also allow members of the community to give me custom topics so I can put their videos in the community as well. It's a very interactive space, and you can access me throughout the week in the community as well. That's all I have for you. Thank you for spending some time with me tonight. Never be dissuaded. Never be, persuaded away from the truth by not observing her movements and putting too much credence into her words. Develop the instinct to see those patterns. And every woman in her simple state will always come into focus as to why she's there. Her words mean nothing when you have the eyes and the instinct to interpret the women that are there for the exact reasons that you want them to be there. Sharpen your instincts. That's where every breakthrough is. And that's where you will not waste a minute of your time. I'll see you all soon.